Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. Is this thing on? Are we really live? It's been so long, it's time to stretch our legs going all over the world playing every single video game and stretch our fingers, handling every joystick and hand controller. Welcome everyone to October 1982. Feels like we've been here a long time. The last game we were checking out was Satan's Hollow in the arcade. Basically Satan Galaga. Let's press forward and see what our next game is. Yes, thank you so much. So glad to be back. Here we are. We're now going to the Atari home computer and playing Hellcat Ace. Let's check it out. Starting with the box. Here's Hellcat Ace by Microprose Software. Now, the Atari home computer, there's a lot of games for the Atari home computer. This marks our 363rd video game for this line of home computers, whether it's the 400 or 800, or if you're one of those lucky few that has the 1200 right now. This is by Microprose. This is the third game we've seen by Microprose after Chopper Rescue and Floyd of the Jungle. And I'm excited. It says you need 40K on disc to play this one. Yes. Oh, man. We're not going to be watching that movie, Manly, thankfully. We flip it over the back, and as usual, Microprose wants you to experience the Microprose Challenge. And there's the other games. We've already seen Floyd of the Jungle and Chopper Rescue. Coming up soon, we'll see Spitfire Ace and Wingman. And this is it, Hellcat Ace. Now, Microprose has one of the best developers that we've seen thus far, Sid Meier. This one will be the fourth game that we've seen by Sid Meier after Formula One Racing, and of course the other ones that we've already mentioned by Microprose. Here's the ad you would have seen in magazines at the time. With the other ones, I haven't seen Wingman yet, but it's coming up pretty soon. Oh, that's right. Thank you so much, Hunter. I appreciate it. This is what you could be popping in to play on your Atari home computer, the cassette for Hellcat Ace, and you can also have the 5 1/4 floppy disk. The disk version usually gives you a little bit more content than the cassette, and the cassette usually takes a lot longer to load. There's an example of the screenshot, and let's see what the manual has for Hellcat Ace. Oh man, another one by Microprose with their address, so we can write them a letter right now and tell them how everything's going. I think all the manuals we've seen by Microprose were made by Sid Meier. Hellcat Ace is a game which challenges your nerve, flying skill, and knowledge of air-to-air combat tactics. You fly your World War II plane against a computer-controlled airplane in one of 14 different scenarios. That's very impressive considering all the war games we played, board games or strategic games. 14 scenarios, and this is supposed to be a flight combat simulator? Your goal is to complete 5 missions and become an ace, a Hellcat Ace, if you will. There's the requirements that we need. You need 40K for this one. At this time in video gamedom, the highest memory that's been required for any home computer that we've seen is 64K, but 40K is still up there. You have to shell out a pretty penny to play this one. This is how we load up the game, and then we have all the different game options. What we're going to see on the screen, I'm going to breeze by the manual because this is a lot of information, but it's actually very simple to get into once you have the game loaded. It shows you the game display because as a flight combat simulator, you want to know what's on the screen of how this works. How do you fly the airplane? How is this going to work in 1982? A combat flight simulator is very rare. Across the gamut of all games so far, there's only been 5 that we've seen, starting with Red Baron in the arcade. After that, we saw B-17 Bomber on the Intellivision and Dawn Patrol on the Apple II, and then Fighter Command, which we just recently saw on the Sharp MX series of computers. And we also saw one text flight combat simulator. The majority of them have been flight simulators, but even still, that's very rare to get a flight simulator game. So this even has in the manual a few combat tactics for us to use, and then it also breaks down all the scenarios. Sid Meier also tells us all the difficulty levels and what they mean, which is kind of a nice nod. I mean, look at this. It shows all the different scenarios you can play. So amazing. Advanced combat aerobatics, and you can even do loops in this. I think this is the first combat game we've ever seen that you can do loops. You couldn't do that in Red Baron in the arcade. And the story goes that Bill Steely, who also is with Microprose, was playing Red Baron in the arcade, and Sid Meier was there, and he was amazed at how good Red Baron was. And Sid Meier said, "Oh, this is no problem. I can make this. I can make this better than Red Baron." And this, ladies and gentlemen, is that game. Let's pop in and play some Hellcat Ace. Sid Meier and Microprose Software at some time in the beginning of October 1982. Let's see how well or how much better this is than Red Baron in the arcade. That's true. You can do loops in Skyskipper, but Skyskipper is not a first-person flight combat simulator. I don't think it's a coincidence that Hellcat Ace follows that. All right, here he is going to load us up for us. We are loading way faster than you would in 1982. We usually hit the fast-forward key, so we don't have to wait for all of the loading times. But this first-person flight combat simulator, you really don't have much to it. And you also have the Atari. You're playing with the Atari joystick. So to control a flight simulator with a joystick, I'm expecting very slow response times. Whenever we've played flight simulators don't really respond that well. Okay, the manual recommends we try Flying Tiger, option number 1. So let's go number 1. And there's our mission. Just shoot down a Japanese bomber. Sounds pretty simple. Now, this one's also a 1 to 4 player game. But if you play with 4 people, you're just going to end up taking turns. Push start to begin. We push start on the Atari home computer, and let's go. Uh-oh, it looks like it's broken. It's not broken, it's just October 1982. Wow, okay, so we're in. I am able to move freely. Is that the reflection on the water? Oh my gosh. At least they're showing one of the planes. Okay, let's go. Hit the red button. Yeah, this is amazingly fast to move left and right. And the way this controls. I was blown away when we played B-17 Bomber, playing a first-person flight combat simulator. This one's now on a computer, and I want to see how large this is. Like what do other scenarios let you see the ground? All right, so if you're playing against other people, you're essentially doing it like an arcade game. So it's showing Pilot 1, what my score was, how fast I did it, and then you just keep going again if you want to play with more people. But we're just here by ourselves, so let's go ahead and hit start. That was our first part. You have to do 4 missions and get as high score as you can. They explain our altitude, power, number of ammo. Let's see, we get 20 shots. There's our speed. Course shows 50. Let's go up on top. Looks like I'm firing 4 different bullets at the same time. How is this possible? How is this? I can't believe this. Oh, can I climb? It's really tricky. I feel like I'm getting a little bit of stall too whenever I'm playing it. Turn to the side. But I'm even turning my head because at this point, to play this kind of game is so rare. The only thing that comes close to how smooth this is Red Baron in the arcades. The other ones we played, yeah, got it. There we go. So there's our second mission. So this is the first scenario. You play 4 missions and then calculate everything at the end. All right, so there you go. Shoot down another Zero fighter for this mission. This is great. So this is just one of the scenarios of the several scenarios, and each mission gives you a different objective. So I'm just shooting down different fighters. So now next we're going to shoot down a Zero fighter. Let's go. I love how smooth it is. We're right at the cusp of games' frame rates upping from a first-person perspective. Another big one we saw using raycasting was the Way Out game. Okay, so this Zero fighter is flying really, really low. I gotta lead the shot, move over to the left. I keep catching myself move my head because I'm not used to this. We played, like I mentioned, a text combat simulator game where you're typing in the commands, and this is a whole nother level. And this is better than Red Baron because there's all the different scenarios you can play. Besides this one with the 4 missions. Oh, and I forgot to mention, I have to have 2 joysticks plugged in. The first joystick is how I'm controlling, moving left and right and firing, but the second joystick is used for your throttle to get you faster and faster speeds. Oh, it looks like he's trying to catch up to me. I gotta, speed up a little bit. Hold on a sec. He's coming at me. I can only fire 1 at a time, and I am getting a little, like, stall at the top. The radar, though, is a little bit to be desired. If you look at the bottom, it's a really small little radar bar. Get it. Yes. Still satisfying, very fun to play. I'm blown away that this exists right now. So cool. So there you go. Now we're on to the next mission. I'm going to shoot down a torpedo bomber. Let's go right in. Awesome. I love it. How it's loading up, from my understanding, this is running on basic. So like the other games we've seen by Sid Meier on the Atari home computer. I don't know for sure if this is entirely in BASIC, but still, this is crazy. The other thing that Sid Meier does is he tries to incorporate 4 players. So the other games we played have 4 players simultaneous action, like we saw with Floyd of the Jungle. This one is 4 players, but you're going to be taking turns. You can't shoot down another player. You can't connect computers and play a first-person combat game. Awesome. Thanks, Scruffy looking. Man, this is so much fun. Okay, last one is avoid the Japanese fighters. Wait, avoid them? I don't have to shoot anybody? All right. I guess see how long I last. One thing I like to do on the show is before playing a game, I just want to make sure the game runs or the game loads for us. Or maybe I'm supposed to avoid them and not shoot them. But one thing I don't do is I don't play the game in its entirety. I like to experience it live to see what happens. There we go. Oh, we did it. Oh, we were supposed to shoot him down. Or maybe we didn't get any points for Mission 5. Let's see. Yes, congratulations, Ace. There it is. Final score, all the victories, so it combines it all together. And if you're playing with 4 people, you would essentially just be taking turns every mission, alternating play, and then adding up the score at the end. And we push start on our home computer. You go back to the scenarios. Wow, look at that. 14 different scenarios. Let's try a crazier one. Do we have anything that's not over the water? But I'm thinking yes, it's going to be all over the water because it's easier to program that way. We can do Pearl Harbor, Midway, Guadalcanal, the Marinas. Let's try a harder one. Let's go with the Marianas. Okay, here we go. Shoot down a 0 fighter. This is mission number 1. Ready and go. This would be such a find right now to play a game that's like this. There's other flight simulators that take this perspective, but a combat flight simulator? Majority of the ones we've seen were space combat simulators. You fly around in space. We've seen plenty of those. This is awesome. This even plays better than some of the other space combat simulators we played. Majority of the space combat ones really aren't simulators. It's more like a shooter. This one feels like I'm actually flying a plane with the 2 joysticks, one used for throttle and the other one used for my pitch and yaw. Okay, here we go. Again, I'm avoiding Japanese fighters. I don't know how I'm going to avoid them. I know how I'm going to avoid them. I'm going to avoid them by shooting them out of the sky. I can't believe I did it on the last bullet. All right, here we go. Go. Get a nice one right on top. Nope, we got to go up. Get it. Oh, how did that miss? He's coming right at me. Oh, man, you can see him fly off the side. That's awesome. Okay, so let's go around the side this way. So if it was October 1982 and you just happened upon this game across the myriad of other games you could be playing on any home computer, this is exceptional. It's a combination of, am I playing an arcade game and am I playing an action game? If I could, I might give the nod to B-17 Bomber, but that one's on a home console, and it does play a little different because it's more arcade focused, where you switch your view or your guns on your ship. But this one's pure flight combat simulator from a first-person perspective. Excellent. All right, so we go down. Now we got to shoot down a Japanese Ace. However, I did pick a different scenario. I didn't notice that big of a difference between the first scenario and this one. I was hoping to see some islands on the ground, but I think everything's going to take place over the blue water. Oh, piece of cake. I'm also doing this also. This is level 1, so you have other levels you can be taking the scenarios with, too. Now we got to shoot down the kamikaze fighter. The load makes me think it's done entirely in BASIC when the screen gives us that garbled mess right there. All right, can we get him from far away? Come on. Oh, that's so close. And you have to also watch your fire count. Come on. Oh, no, he's flying straight at us. Oh, yeah, maybe the Pearl Harbor one has land. All right, let's go ahead and go on the side. What happens? Is it easy to crash? Let's just dive in the water and see what happens. There's our altitude. We're going down. Uh-oh, not good. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. You crashed. Too bad. Your base has been destroyed and you lose. We get 3 victories, though. So essentially, it's use the ammo you have, don't run out of ammo, and don't crash, and you'll be all right. All right, so it looks like if you crash... Oh, the scenario's over. Okay, let's take a look at Pearl Harbor. All right, let's go to number 2. Paul's already thrown out a rating of 4 of all the games you can play right now on a home computer. All right, let's see Japanese float plane for Pearl Harbor and see if we see anything besides just blue water. This is another game that I just want to keep on playing. I want to try every scenario. I want to play every game and get used to it and better at it. This perspective, the first-person view, we see mostly with the space combat. And one of the best ones we've seen so far was Phaser Patrol on a home console on the Atari using the supercharger. Yeah, it looks like it's just going to be over water. Sorry, Pearl Harbor. There you go. So another quick taste of Hellcat Ace on your Atari home computer. This is excellent. An exceptional game you can be playing right now, and very rare considering the rest are going to be space combat. If you had your fill of flight simulators and you wanted something more combat, this is the way to go. Manly's throwing 4.5 out there. Nice. Oh, that's true. And seeing the sky change, Curtis. Yeah, that was a nice touch as well. All right, so if you're new to the show, our 5-star rating system works like this. You first have to pretend the only thing that exists with video games is right now, here in October 1982, and we base every game off of the categories arcade games, computer games, console games, and handheld games. And you just have to ask yourself the question, is this game that we're playing right now a broken game for any home computer that you could play at this point? You'd be around here in the 1-star range. If you tell yourself this is a game that's a bad game that you would play on a home computer, across all the home computers, you'd be in the 2-star range, somewhere around here. If you tell yourself this is pretty average for a game you could play on a home computer right now in October 1982, you'd be about here in the 3-star range. If you say this is a great game, an excellent game, an above average game, then you'd be about here in the 4-star range. If you tell yourself this is one of the best games you could play right now on a home computer across all home computers, you'd be about here in the 5-star range, 4.5 or 5. This game falls under that category. Oh, okay, I'm looking over in the chat, seeing some 4 stars. I see a 4.5. Yeah, this one is, I'm going to say this is one of the best games you could play right now on a home, across any home computer if you're into this kind of genre. This is very rare to see. So I'm going to go with 4.5 stars of all the games you could play on a home computer. Well done, Sid Meier. Yet again, he's up to something. He's going to make some good games in the future, I can tell. I see Hunter throwing out 4.5 as well. All right, let's press forward and see our next game. And before we move forward, this game is also going to be found on the Commodore 64 in 1983 and the PC Booter in 1984, so we'll be looking out for other ports of that. And now, without further ado, this is The Hobbit on the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Let's check it out. Starting with the cassette case. The Hobbit. It's a super program that's a milestone in computer software. You'll face dangerous excitement and adventure in words and graphics. I need to explain that with every text adventure game. It's excitement and adventure in words and graphics. Well, a few graphics, just a few. This is The Hobbit, ladies and gentlemen. This is Lord of the Rings or J.R.R. Tolkien inspired. To say that J.R.R. Tolkien has inspired video games would be an understatement. We've already seen since the beginning of video games, Lord of the Rings has been inspiring lots of things like Moria or Orthanc in 1975. There was Hobbit Quiz in 1978, then Avatar and Ringen in 1979, and Lord in 1981. Now, Dungeons & Dragons obviously was inspired by Lord of the Rings, and several video games we've played have been inspired by Dungeons & Dragons. So this one's the granddaddy of video games. And The Hobbit, this one is an official version of The Hobbit. We have not seen anything that's official Lord of the Rings related or J.R.R. Tolkien related. No, it is not from Australia. We're going to on the ZX Spectrum, and this is in the United Kingdom. So The Hobbit there was a game called Hobbit on the TRS-80 in 1979, but it wasn't associated with Lord of the Rings. This one is the actual Hobbit, and inside this box, the reason why this is so big is because The Hobbit, the book, was included in this. So not only did you get the game The Hobbit, you could read the book The Hobbit. That's pretty cool. So you can see here, the whole thing's a little bit larger than our usual boxes we see. It's an adventure and a classic. And this box is technically the second release. So the first release was a little bit more jankier than this one, but I went for the second release for the box to show. Let's take a look at some more artwork for The Hobbit. This one marks our 99th game you could be playing on your ZX Spectrum in the United Kingdom. And there we go. There's another version of the box of The Hobbit. And this one's by Melbourne House. This one marks the 19th game we played by Melbourne House here on the show. Majority of them were in the United Kingdom. And the ad you would have seen in magazines at the time, oh yeah, it's more of an experience than a program is for sure. This one has a lot of interesting features that set it apart from other text adventures you could play. Oh, that's true. This was on that system as well. We'll be seeing those. This will be ported lots of places mainly. And then we also have included in the box several manuals or people that made manuals, because this one has the notoriously difficult Goblin's Dungeon. And this is someone that made their own map for it, as well as several other maps I wanted to show you, because like other graphic adventure games or text adventure games, this is the kind that has all the text, but you have a few graphics or screens you can see on top, and you would be mapping out these yourself. They have a few high-res graphics, at least ZX Spectrum computer high-res graphics. There's a map for the Goblin's Lair, and there's an entire one, including the graphics that you got on the ZX Spectrum over there on the far left side. Love it. And there's another added magazines for The Hobbit. This is a unique game. It's not your average graphic adventure game or text adventure game. And even more maps. Get your grid paper ready and start writing the map or drawing the map. And this is what all you saw on the inside, because essentially the book that you get, the fiction book of The Hobbit, you're supposed to use that as an example. All right, there you go. There's The Hobbit. Excellent artwork they showed in the top, and they try to recreate it when you're inside the game. You have 2 copies of the cassette that we'll be playing, and then you can see they give us an example of one of the screenshots. So this one has several different versions. There was obviously the tape version. We have version 1, version 2, or version 1.2. We're going to go with version 1.2 by Melbourne House. Here we go. Let's pop in and play some of The Hobbit. This is Philip Mitchell and Beam Software. This marks the 5th game we've seen by Beam Software so far. There was an even better box that you would have seen in 1986, or the version 1.2 in 1986. So this is the very first one. That's why we have this really cool screen. Philip Mitchell and Veronica Megler. Way to go, Philip and Veronica. They designed, or mostly Veronica, designed the English system, and that's INGLISH system. So this system is not your usual text adventure game. Now, I'm going to let the game just boot up, and it goes here. We're in a comfortable tunnel-like hall to the east. There's a round green door, and we can see a wooden chest and Gandalf. Gandalf's carrying a curious map. There's Thorin here. Gandalf gives the map to us, and then Thorin waits. So this is how the game begins. What makes this game interesting is this is a real-time text adventure game. So notice that I didn't touch anything or do anything, and the game is it's responding. Look, time passes, and Gandalf just left. Gandalf just opened the round green door. I haven't touched or typed anything. This just happened. This is very, very rare for a video game, and this is what makes sets this one apart. Now, it's not the very first time. We've already seen some other games that are real-time text adventures, like Madness of the Minotaur on the Theoricity Color Computer, Keys of the Wizard, The Institute, and Breckenridge Caper of 1798. But that's it. There's no other text adventure games that try to do anything. This one is even more sophisticated than that. This text parser has things happening in real time, but it also includes, you can type full sentences in like you do in Zork. So this is like a supercharged Zork, and it's based on something that a lot of people love, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. It's amazing. Oh, thank you. Australian developer, excellent. Oh, very nice. I appreciate it, Hernan. All right, there we go. So we got time passing. I haven't typed anything, and Gandalf just left. He went east, and all the other non-playable characters in this game, they have their own they have their own responses to things. So you really can't follow a walkthrough to this game, because you don't know when the characters that you need to interact with because they're going to do their own thing. It's amazing. It's too cool. This is also the first of the Tolkien Software Adventure series, so we're going to see a few more games like this. This is also the very first game officially for Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. And I want to break down, so all these pictures that we're seeing, so if I do look again, it should draw the screen. Oh, you know what it is? I want the one that has the graphics, so I'm going to actually go back. I want to show you the 1.0 version. There we go. I want to show you the still graphics, which makes this... For our show, we show text adventure games means there's no graphics whatsoever. But if the game has any graphic, like a solid screen graphic when you're playing the game, then we call that a graphic adventure game. So here we go. This is what I wanted to show you. The draw-in. That's it. We can't follow behind like Bilbo in the novel. All right, we're in a comfortable tunnel-like hall, and it's going to, after it loads in the graphics, then it's going to load in what's happening in the room. And these illustrations were based on Kent Reese, who did a lot of the illustrations for the actual Hobbit. So this is like official. We're playing after all the Dungeons & Dragons, we're playing an official Lord of the Rings game here. It's been so long. All right, do we have to look again? There we go. All right, so here we go. He gave us the map. Let's go ahead and see what we can do with Gandalf before he runs away and opens the door. All right, so let's go ahead and read the map. You examine the curious map. There seems to be symbols on it, but you cannot read them. And then Gandalf opens the round green door, and Thorin waits for us. Okay, thanks. Okay, we'll go ahead and head east. And then it draws us in. Oh, man, love it. If you don't like screens drawing in, you need to leave. It's currently October 1982, and we love this. You're in a gloomy, empty land with dreary hills ahead. All right, let's go ahead and go east again. Oh, so to the west is the round green door. Visible exits are east, northeast, and we see nothing. And then Gandalf's here. Okay, let's go east again. Gandalf's just doing his own thing. Yes, buying this for the graphics, because if they're based on the actual graphics that you would expect from The Hobbit, it's amazing. It's too cool. And all this on your ZX Spectrum too. All right, so we're east, and there are trolls in the clearing. We're there. All right, let's go ahead and head north. We need to be careful. Oh, we have southwest, southeast, and north. We see a hideous troll, and the troll's carrying a large key. And the vicious troll, Gandalf's here, and Thorin's here. The hideous troll says, "Blimey, looks like this. Looks like this. Looks at this. Can you cook him?" The vicious troll says, "You can try, but you wouldn't make a mouthful. Make above a mouthful." Just like in the book. All right, so let's go ahead and head north. We're in a hidden path with troll footprints, and it's going to draw us in. To have characters following you around in a text adventure game is awesome. We've already seen a few, like in Deadline, when we moved from room to room trying to solve the mystery, characters would follow us around. But this, in a fantasy setting, is awesome. There's the path with troll footprints, and we got the heavy rock door. Visible exits are south. I also love how this game is doing a step above what we've seen with like Scott Adams adventure games. Instead of just splitting the screen into two parts, this one's splitting it into several, showing everything, breaking everything down where all the exits are. It's the full package. This is the full adventure game package right here. All right, so after that, let's go ahead and wait. Time passes, and Thorin tells us to hurry up. You hurry up, Thorin. Wait. And this is another thing, too. You use time to help you in the game. So if you're familiar with the book, or you read the book, that's kind of like the manual for this game, you know that if you want to take out the trolls, you got to wait until day. So what do? You just keep waiting. Oh, there it is. And day has dawned. Now that day has dawned, we hopefully have the trolls turned to stone. Let's go ahead and head south and see. That's it. We're in the clearing with 2 stone trolls. It worked. So all the people that love the lore of The Hobbit and read the whole book, it actually helps you in the game. This would be so cool. Especially if you were a fan before even playing any video games. I mean, think of all of the generation before this that had grown up reading The Hobbit, and then they finally get to play this kind of game. It's just amazing. All right, so after that, let's go ahead and do we can probably get the large key now. There's stone. Yeah, go. You take the large key, very nice. And then let's go ahead and go north. You go north, the troll path. As there's south, you see nothing. And let's go ahead and unlock door. You unlock the heavy rock door with a large key. And open it. Can I say open it? I do. It works. We don't have to say go door or open door. We can actually say open it. It's a revolution. You open the heavy rock door, and Thorin says, hurry up. Now he's really treating us like we are Bilbo Baggins. And we are. We're playing as Bilbo. All right, so after we open it, we can go ahead and north it through it. Yeah, we're in the Troll's Cave. Awesome. Look at that. The red makes me think we got blood on the axe. It's awesome. No, I guess you can't, Manly. We need to do this quest faster, is what Thorin's saying. All right, so after we go ahead and get in here, let's go ahead and get the... We have a short, strong sword here and a rope. Let's go ahead and get rope and sword. And it should understand both, right? Take the rope, take the strong, short sword. Yes, love it. All right, let's go ahead and head south. This is awesome. Let's go south again. And then head southeast. And we should be back in Rivendell. Awesome. It doesn't take long to get from the Shire to Rivendell here in The Hobbit. All right, so we see Elrond, and Thorin enters. Elrond says, hello, and we can actually talk, which isn't a new thing. We can talk in other text adventure games, too. All right, so first I want to do is give the map to Elrond. You give the curious map to Elrond. Thorin says, hurry up, and Elrond says, thank you. Thorin, I think we're going to have to leave you behind. All right, after we give him the map, you can say, hello. Oh, say to, hold on. Say to Elrond. And you got to do, say to Elrond. And I got to do the quotes. Hello. If I can figure out my, no, it's not that one. Oh, I guess I can't do, because you have to actually say the quotes. You have to type the quotes and then say hello to be able to speak to Elrond. This right here is revolutionary. This is a text adventure game that you could not only sink your teeth into, have a blast being part of something that is already a fiction that is loved around the world. I got to give mad props to The Hobbit. Of all the games you could be playing right now on a home computer, The Hobbit is excellent. All right, so I would say for all the games you could play right now on a home computer, The Hobbit is up there. This is another excellent title that you can't really get. We have other games that are real-time text adventure games, but they don't really play like this. The engine they use in this is another title that is up there with Zork. It's up there with the Infocom games that we have. So I'm going to say this is, again, one of the other games you could play that's above the rest. Most of the other Zork games we've been giving 5 stars for. And then we had a really nice text adventure or graphic adventure game that had animation called Sands of Egypt that we said 4 stars of all the games you could play right now. And I'm looking over in the chat. I already see a 4.5 star rating for all the games you could play. Richard's 4.5 as well. I'm going to say is same. This is another one of the best games you could play right now on a home computer. 4.5 stars for The Hobbit. Scruffy saying 4. Kun saying 4. So I see higher than usual ratings, and you can tell based on everything else that you could be playing, it looks like just another graphic adventure game, but there's more happening when you actually boot it up and play it yourself. And this one we're going to see a lot later. It's going to be released on tons and tons of other micros and computers. This one was the very, very first. All right, that's where we got to put our video game playing on pause. It is so great to be back. Thanks so much for all the support, everybody on YouTube, everybody on Twitch, everybody that just watches the videos later. I spent a lot of the time when I was off being able to work on all the games we played spreadsheet, and we now have it fully updated. Everything is correct, all the information for everything we've seen up to this point on Chronologically Gaming. That's it for today. Well, next time on Chronologically Gaming, we got arcade games that are going to be hard to explain, and invaders are invading the BBC Micro. That's it for today, and like I always say, you can't stop this fantasy game quest. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.